Hey guys, today we're playing Apex, and I'm going to be talking about how I improved at Apex, how I went from being never good at a video game to being a very, at least by my standards, high-level player. You may disagree, but yeah. So I guess I should say, like a quote here. This is a genuine opinion, is whatever you go to sleep thinking about and whatever you wake up thinking about, that is what you're going to get better at. Like, that is what you clearly care about. And if you're trying to be like the best player in the game, for example, like say that's just like a long goal, if you're not going to bed thinking about the game, waking up, you're not thinking about it while you're eating, trust me, there are plenty of people that are, and you are not going to be better than them. There is no way. If there's a guy who's playing, he's playing a bunch, he loves the game, he thinks about it when he goes to bed, thinks about it while he's eating, I mean, you're just not going to beat that guy, okay? He is just going to be better than you. And there's times in my life where I was that guy. Like, it's what I do. Like, it's just like, I wake up, play, sleep, eat. I'm just like, man, I want to finish my food so I can play more. And that was when I was the best I ever was. And the times where I'm like, yeah, I want to do some other stuff, then I got results that you would expect, got mid results. So keep that in mind, and if Apex isn't it's important that, you find like something to be good at. And, if you go to bed thinking about painting and you sleep thinking about what you're going to paint, then maybe you're not destined to be the Apex god of the world, But anyways, if you do feel that way, if you do feel that, Apex is like what you enjoy, it's what you mess with heavy, then this video will be for you. Slam! This video will be for you. So I started my journey playing Apex in Season 4, basically. And I played it every day. Like, I did everything I possibly could to be able to play one more Apex game. I was like a crack addict. Like, I was like a tweaker. Like, I will do whatever it takes to get my next hit of Apex, That was me. And I would play all day, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, literally wake up, get on computer, get off computer, go to bed. That was my life. And although, some people will be like, okay, well, that's not possible for me and truthfully, I didn't have any responsibilities. I was 18. I just turned 18. I lived with my parents. I had no responsibilities. But if you know my story, then you'll know that I was kind of getting to that point where I was like, okay, I got to get a job. And my friend Keon bailed me out, and is why I continued streaming. But yeah, there are plenty of people that have gotten really good with responsibilities. So don't, use that as an excuse, to an extent. Because, for example, there are people like Walty, for example, who, had a full-time job. Dude had a full-time job and was a muscular as heck, clearly had other hobbies, other responsibility, other stuff going on. And he still became one of the best players of all time, And there's people like Cody, for example, who has been one of the best players in the game for years, and he's worked just a normal IT job full time the entire time. So there's so everyone's got stuff going on in their life, and yeah, don't let that hold you back. But I will say that the more time you can play, the better. The people that tend to be the very best in the world, like the absolute just god gamers, yeah, truthfully, do they play 8-10 hours a day every single day and have no responsibilities other than playing Apex? Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. It does help, and at some point, if you're trying to be the best player in the game, you probably would want to transfer over to that. But if you're just trying to improve, in general, maybe you're not trying to be the best player in the game, I have some advice. And I think the most important thing, really, if you're just trying to improve, and even, I guess, also for both, whether you're just trying to be better for the moment or be the best player in the game, either one, is that it's not about what you know, it's about how you learn, if that makes sense. Because, you can tell someone anything. Like, say, for example, to use, say the Mozam is the best guy in the game, be like, oh, hey, use the Mozam. Okay, I'll use the Mozam. You can be told stuff and figure it out. Anyone can do that, right? But what's important is, do you have the skills to be able to learn that stuff on your own? Because, for example, I would coach a lot of people, right? All the time back in the day. And you know, I would tell them stuff. I'd be like, okay, don't, in this scenario, you don't want to swing. You know, you don't want to stand in places like where you don't have much dodging space, like this hallway. Like, you don't want to sit here and chow somebody because you're going to get smoked. You know, stuff like that. And they would learn it because I told them. But what was very hard to teach people, and I still don't really know how to do that really, is teaching people how to be able to come up with that stuff on your own. Because you're not going to always have a coach there to help you. And that was like the hardest thing to teach, like I said. Because, you know, say for example, I have a puzzle, right? And there's two people and they're both going to solve it. And one guy takes an hour, he solves the puzzle. Okay, it's super hard, he solves it. And then you have the second guy who just looks over and watches the first guy solve the puzzle. And then he solves it because he knows how to do it. He knows the answer. And then let's say I have a second puzzle, right? And I hand both these people a puzzle. You know, who do you think is going to be more likely to finish it first? The guy who learned how to do it on his own, the guy who knows how to, you know, knows the thought process behind how he learned it, or the person who just was told what to do, you know, oh, pick up a Mozam, you know? Who would you think is going to do a better job? And I think it's important to know that the people who are the best in the game, you know, say whoever you think that is, those aren't the people that just, like, you know, they know the most stuff. They do. But this is a constantly evolving game, and people get better every day. So the people that are the best aren't the best because they know the most stuff. They're the best because they learn faster than everybody else, you know? So it's, and all of this to say that it's very important that you learn how to learn from your games, because you should be able to end every game you play, and you should be able to have a laundry list of things that you did wrong, and you should be able to explain why you won, why you lost. Every fight, you should be able to explain, okay, I beat this guy because of this. I beat this guy because he did this. I beat this guy because he did this. And I got beat by this guy because I did this. You should be able to have a list of those things for every single fight you ever take. Fights are the most important, but even you can do better at things like looting. You know, I could have looted the building this way to save some time, or I could have rotated this way to, you know, save my teammates some time, you know. You have to be able to know how to, you know, kind of come to those, you know, conclusions. I think we have another team up here. But yeah, that's what's really hard to teach people, and it can be hard at first to, you know, for example, when people are like, I don't usually have too hard of a time being like, okay, I lost this fight because of this, or I lost this fight because of this. But I know a lot of people I coach that aren't, or used to coach that weren't that good. They had a very hard time telling me like why they lost beyond something like incredibly surface level, you know? And when I was getting good at this game, that was something that I did really well. And you know, like I said, when I would be like, I would go to bed thinking about Apex, wake up thinking about Apex, you know, that's the stuff I was thinking about was, you know, I lost this fight. How could I have won this fight? You know, and I would sit there and like when I lost a fight, especially when it was to somebody that I knew was really good, I would go to bed, like lay down, and I would lay there for, no joke, hours. And I would just think it over and over in my head. And I would be like, this is why I lost, or like, you know, how could I have won this fight? Or what can I do next time? Like I would just ponder it for hours, like the hundreds of hours I have spent just thinking about why I lost a fight, or why, you know, or what I could have done better. I mean, honestly, it's in the thousands of hours easily of time I have spent thinking about why I lost. So if you're not thinking about that stuff like all the time, then you're not really going to get, you know, any better. And I think that is, I think that's a big thing, is just, you know, I'm saying like, okay, the better players, they know how to learn better. And it's because I've solved that puzzle. You know, I've solved that puzzle 1,000 times of figuring out why I lost and what I could have done better to win next time. And so when I get handed a puzzle, I'm way better at solving it than other people, you know? I'm way better at figuring out how to win and how to not lose, you know? Because I wasn't just given the puzzle, you know, or given the solution. I had to figure that out on my own. And all your fights are going to be different, you know? So it's not like there's just one thing that's going to win you every single fight, you know? But yeah. So I know I did a lot of prefacing in this video to get to the end topic, but hopefully it all came together nicely. I don't even know what's happening. You know what's funny is this guy has actually been in multiple videos, I'm pretty sure, this Ado guy. I'm not even duo-queued with him. He just happens to be on my team when I get good games. Oh! Okay, we're good. One thing that does help also, if you're having trouble like remembering what happened in your games, is recording your games, even if you're not like posting them, and rewatch them can definitely help, because the way that you're going to envision the fight in your mind is always going to be different than how it actually happened. Like, you're not going to be able... I doubt a single person watching this video has the capability of you know, picture-perfect recall, like perfect recall. Is that what it's... I think that's what it's called. I highly doubt that. I know I certainly don't, because when I go back and watch my own clips, like, they look different than even I... Like if I go back and watch this game, I can tell you what happened in this game, but if I go back and watch it, I guarantee you it's going to be two totally different, you know... Totally different things. So yeah, I'm about to smoke this down. And GG's. So, hope this video helps. I know I didn't really necessarily talk about anything in particular.
Thank you, Watson.
GG's. But like I said, it's all about how to learn. It's all about learning the process instead of learning the end thing. It's the puzzle scenario that I talked about. It's like handing both people a puzzle and telling them to solve it. You know? But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope this helped. Adios.